So this is the last problem of section 5.2, but unfortunately for you, it's going to involve quite a bit of Excel. So I'm going to go back here, and remember, I changed these because we were kind of using them for all sorts of things. So I'm going to change, and I don't know why I left 5.1 in there because it's not really 5.1. That's okay. Those are the graduates here, and then there's fall enrollments here. The only one that was weird was that simulation we did in 5.1, but that's okay. All right, so let's look here. We've got this table. We did this 5.2 example 6. We're now on 5.2 example 10, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so A, B, and C. Or no, there's just an A and B. I'm sorry. Oh, we're not on the last one. I apologize. Looking at the notes, because I've got them here, there's actually 2 examples. So sorry, we're on the last page. You know, that's something. Okay, so they want the probability of not an associate of arts, right? So that would be 1 minus the probability of associate of arts, right? Which is 1 minus, now what's the associate of arts? That's 1194 divided by 6548, which is equal to 1 minus, and I'll just do it all at once, 1194 divided by 6548, boom. There we go. That's the final answer right there. I'll make it, I'm going to pick a color here. How about peach? That looks good. All right, so there's that one. Now for part B, they want 1 minus, excuse me, probably of not an AA or, I shouldn't capitalize this, AAS student. So not an associate of arts or an associate of applied science. Okay, so that's 1 minus, let me put this in brackets here, the probability of AA plus the probability of, here this is, or AAS, right? Because if you don't want either one of them, you got to add them up. So the probability of AA or AAS, which is 1, I'm going to put this in 1 minus, and then I'm going to have to find the probability of AA plus the probability of AAS. I'm going to have to take it away from 1. All right, well, that's 1 minus, I'm actually going to do it now, parentheses. All right, the probability of AA we already found is 1194 divided by 6548 plus the probability of AAS is 3986, because there's the AAS grouping right there, divided by 6548 again. Oh, forgot my parentheses. There we go. Boom. So let me see if that makes sense. You find each of those probabilities. AA is B4 over H4. AAS is C4 over H4. You add them up, but you don't want that. You want the complement, so you take it away from 1. And that gives you your answer. And I'm going to pick a blue for that one. All right, I think we are done with those. Now I typed them up over here so you can see it. So 1 minus the probability of AA, that's 1 minus that 1194 that we did. And if you wanted, you could actually find what that is. That's 5348. And how am I getting that? Well, remember, they got to add up to 6548 when it's all over, right? So I just take 6548, take away 1194, and I've got 5354. Right, the other one we did was you add up AA and AAS. That's 1194 and 3986. You add those two up, right? And that gets you 5180. So then the complement is everything else. So right, it's 1368. In other words, you take 6548 and you subtract 5180, and you're going to get 1368, which is 0.2089, which is what we found right there. Okay. So of course you won't always have Excel to maybe do the heavy lifting. So it helps when you're writing out your notes to be able to write down exactly what was happening in terms of the fractions and the formulas. Okay. So find AA and AS, you add them up, then you take it away from 1, right, to get the 1368, and then you just divide to find what that is. If you need to. I mean, sometimes you can just leave it as a fraction, and I won't care. All right, now it's the last one. What about the 6-sided dice? So what's the probability of not rolling snake eyes? So, well, remember, that's 1 minus the probability of snake eyes. And snake eyes, we said, was 1 out of 36. So that's 35 out of 36 total. So if you look back all the way right here. So snake eyes is right here. So everything else in the entire table, except for that cell right there, is not snake eyes. That's 35 cells out of 36 total. All right, last one. I got to scroll back down to it. There it is. All right, not rolling a sum of 7. Well, remember that 7 was the diagonal. Sorry, I got to go back up to it. 7 was the diagonal. 6 and 1, 5 and 2, 4 and 3, and so on. We also found it down here. Right, there's the probability of 7 right there. Boom. So if 7 is this, then what's not 7? Everything else. Now, you could add up everything else if you wanted. Or you could say, hey, wait a second, there's 36 total, 6 of them are in the 7 group, so everything else must be 30, right? Because there's 30 total other things I could have tossed that are not 7, right? So I take sum of 7, which is 6 of them. There's 6 ways to roll 7, 1 and 6, 2 and 5, and so on. And I subtract it from 1, that'll give me 30 out of 36. And again, if you want a decimal for any of these, knock yourself out, but it's not required. All right, we are done with section 5.2. I hope you enjoyed the complement rule. We will move on next to independence and the multiplication rule. So I'll see you then.